Hey, everybody, and welcome to Fridays at 5. I'm Karen Taylor of the Color Vowel Chart. We get together every Friday, more or less, these days less, about twice a month, to visit all kinds of topics related to teaching, teaching pronunciation, teaching with Color Vowel, and teaching online. So these are all themes that have come up and come back, and they've evolved over time, but we've been doing this for a little over a year. It's been pretty wonderful. And so I'm really thrilled to have familiar faces in the room as well as some new faces and names. I want to welcome everybody. I'd like to, as we continue welcoming people into the room, we're thrilled to have some special guest speakers today on the topic of, do I look okay? That's the theme. Do I look okay? Which is tips and tricks for looking your best online. We all think that or wonder that every once in a while. Sometimes we see a new light and we think, oh, wow, I look so much better. So today we'll really delve into specific tips, and we might even end up moving our own lights around in real time. If that's something you want to try doing, it won't bother any of us if we see people getting up and actually moving things around. I think that would be kind of fun.
Shirley, she's got margins.
Yep. So yeah, so welcome, Shirley. Shirley's my co-author, by the way. Hi, Shirley. Shirley's on a phone, I think.
No, I'm on an iPad that I'm trying to learn how to use.
There we go.
And when I have it sitting upright, I feel like it's off, the camera's off to the side.
Yeah.
So I have a whole new thing with Zoom, and I'm not going to be able to stay for the whole meeting because it's my grandson's birthday, but I thought I'd see what you all are up to.
All right. Well, happy purple shirt birthday to Shirley's grandson. Yeah, and so Shirley, show us that again, just because we're into this topic today. How things
the way you had it before.
Show you.
Show it the other way.
What bothers me about this is I feel like the camera's over to the side on the iPad. Yeah. And I just today discovered if I turn it this way, I don't know if it's any better. Now it looks like I'm looking down, but
I think they're just really different from my perspective. One, this is like all about Shirley, this view, and the other view is if you were going to teach and point to something, it would be pretty handy. Yep. So anyway,
you were saying you don't want to see all the extra stuff.
No.
All righty. Well, hey, so we're going to jump in. I see Robin's coming into the room. Other Robin, second Robin, third Robin.
Oh, Robin too.
Yeah. And so here's how this is going to run. I had the best time setting this up. I was praising my guest speakers because I just put out the topic, they volunteered, and then we organized a little agenda. And the agenda is going to start with Julie. Everybody, Julie, you want to put your hands up so we can see you. There you are, Julie Scott. She's going to talk on a couple of really, I just love your little lineup, so I'm not going to give it away. I'm just going to let you move forward in that. Followed by Liz Bigler, right over here with the backdrop that we all like right now. And then Mariah is going to bring up the rear with some with a twist. I'm just going to call it a twist. And I liked what you brought to the table. I hadn't thought of it, Mariah. So I'll again, I won't give it away. But we'll also take time for questions between those. So any questions that come up, feel free to put that in the chat or just wait till questions come up. And we'll be watching those for moments to interrupt the speaker and say, hey, there's a question. Okay. Practical session. So handing it over to Julie. Hey there.
All right. Hey. So I said from lighting to lipstick, do what it takes to make yourself visible and visual. So Mariah, I love your lipstick. So as an online teacher, we want, okay. And do you want to pin whoever's talking? Karen?
I think that's a great idea.
Last time we figured that one out way late into the game. Not that I really want to see my face huge, but
how about if I am I going to use Spotlight? We're kind of getting into Zoom geeky stuff, but is that what I use?
Spotlight.
Spotlight
is for everybody.
Okay, so I can see the others of you too. Okay. So one of the things I thought about, so I am a VIP kid teacher. I've got sort of a busy background going on. So something that I try to do, I brought props that, I don't want to wear something really busy clothing wise. Now, if I'm sitting where you can barely see me, it kind of doesn't matter. But I think about what I'm wearing because I don't want to visually distract. This is okay. It's a little more subtle, solids, whatever, but it's just something I have in my head. I think about people who do sign language. they wear solids or very small prints because they don't want to compete. The communication, your clothing doesn't need to compete with your communication.
Well,
I have a question
I want to
about
pause
that.
on that. Yeah, let's talk about this. I think this is wonderful, Julie, because so much of what we do in the color vowel approach involves a mindful and concise use of the hands, right? So I want to open that up for a minute before you move on. And Robin, you had some.
Yeah, I had a question. I was told once not to, if you're going to be televised or anything, not to wear stripes because they wind up doing this psychedelic thing, op art sort of illusion. Is that true also of computers? Is our stripes? Oh, Mariah says yes. Okay.
There you go.
I know that I'm really sensitive to little plaid, like especially red and white plaid or turquoise and yellow. So anything that sort of fights, my eyes go jazzy, and I see that happening online as well. So that's just me. But
so large floral things are not as problematic, but solid colors are even better.
mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Yeah. Liz mentioned, she just wanted me to mention the phrase, I talk a lot about lowering the cognitive load or lowering just the processing load of the listener and the viewer. So I think that's part of your point too, right, Julie?
Mm-hmm, mm-hmm.
Great. Any other thoughts on or anecdotes, anything to add on that topic before I head back over to Julie? Julie? Head back in. Tell us more.
Back in. Okay, so I mentioned Mariah's lipstick, but I feel like I do not have eyeballs if I don't have makeup on. And to me, having an expressive face is important. I work with kids that, younger to older, but still, even when I worked with adults, I'm just a demonstrative person. But I feel like having my eyes show, and my lips, it doesn't have to be a dark color, but I want my smile to show. Now, you guys, men, you just do your thing and you're great and nobody thinks it's another thing about it. But I feel comfortable having makeup on. I know some apps have filters that supposedly give you a little cheek color, whatever, but just find what you're comfortable with, what makes you feel good. If I feel like I look like my eyeballs are open, I'm awake, I'm a better teacher. I don't know whether the students know the difference or not. One Sunday I taught without makeup on. I kept thinking she looks pathetic, but none of my students said that to me.
I have a question about glasses versus no glasses.
Okay,
Do you have glare issues?
I have to wear glasses, so I have 3 pairs of glasses for you. Okay, so here's my regular glasses, and they have a glare problem.
I think they look great.
And they're very similar to my other ones. But I love these glasses. And then I thought, I'm going for a new look. And I got some plastic frame. Oh boy, these are dirty. Plastic frame glasses. And I cannot wear them because I have to do this. These are no line trifocals, okay?
Yeah, my trifocals do.
I have to look down my nose at you to teach.
So that's because of the lenses themselves. That's not the fault of a glare or anything.
No, it isn't. It isn't. But it's hard on the neck, and who wants to look up your nostrils? So then I went back to an old pair of glasses, went to Costco and said, can you make me computer glasses out of these? And so I didn't have to buy new frames. And so these are basically reading and short range, so I can look comfortably out of these. So there's a lot of things you don't want to have to mess with paying for. I think getting computer glasses with the non-glare coating has been 100 times worth the price that I paid.
Can I ask you something about that?
Yeah.
All
I'm trying to figure out who's asking.
Donna.
Okay, there you
To me, with all 3 of your pairs of glasses there, the first one had the least amount of glare.
Oh, really?
Regular glasses. Right now, at least from my perspective, I'm seeing a lot of glare with your special computer glasses, and they're like very purple.
But it's pretty.
Yeah, I mean, I do notice they're dark.
I mean, to me, it's I guess that's just because of whatever, like the computer blue, whatever they put on that. But I didn't know if that was just like my screen or what.
No,
on
it
that.
actually does. I'm looking at myself. They are. And yes, there are times that I see the glare. And if I can find a place, I don't see my face very big here, but I can find a place sometimes where I need to move my face. But yeah, so you're not going to completely get rid of it, but getting the, okay, so I can reduce the glare by reducing the computer light. But I found, am I as light to you now as I was just a minute ago?
No.
Can you see my face as well?
Actually, we can
Yes.
see better, I think. You were looking pretty dark when so Zoom is also adjusting
things.
to the light exposure, and sometimes it's not quite what you want. Yeah.
Yeah, because it's like, to me, my face is brighter and more vivid when I turn my display light up. So this is good for me to be asking you. So when I turn it down, it actually, you can see me more clearly.
Let's go ahead and spotlight her again.
Less glare, yeah.
Okay, let's do one
Okay.
or A and B testing.
Okay,
here's A.
Here's A and here's B.
The only thing that changed for me is the glare in your glasses.
Okay.
I don't think it changes our view. It
Okay.
changes what's coming out of your
Yeah.
display.
All right.
I can see the rest of your face fine. What's interesting though is that with those glasses, I don't know, somehow is magnifying your eyes so that your eyes are really, your eyes are really expressive with those glasses. More than the other ones are kind of hiding your eyes somehow.
Well, I like my eyes to be expressive, so I guess that works.
Well, I had to give up my glasses altogether because I had to look up the nostrils problem with my bifocals.
So you need to get computer glasses where the whole thing is just for this, because it makes a difference. So another thing, like this, so I had my do-it-yourself desk. A friend bought me this adjustable computer desk. So, so there's different angles here that you want to make sure you're looking your best by, I don't know what's better, looking up. So, oh, look, this one, I only have one chin when I do it this way, so find what works. Now, I feel like I'm,
I love
ready
it.
to
You look like you're stuck in an elevator that's decorated inside. I mean, it's sort of that, it's looking down like there's a security camera looking at you.
Yes.
So.
But think about that. It's like when you're looking really down, you might add a chin. As one friend says, she has more chins than a Chinese phone book. That you don't want that. You want to look your best. They don't even have phone books in China. Sorry.
Nowhere. Hey, so I want to go back to this angle for just a minute. Because this is kind of neat. I do think since you're working with kids, this has a very fun quality to it, this looking down angle. I don't know if others feel that way, but I think I could imagine a lot coming out of I know you have all these items ready to grab because I've seen you, with your tools before. And I can see, your little son back there. I mean, it just gives me a lot of wonder. I think, what does she have down there? So just saying that for working with kids, that has a fun quality.
I think that's an awesome point, Karen, because when she took out that magnifying glass, that's exactly how I felt. I was like, ooh, how many other, surprises does she have down there? And so the angle really accentuates that.
Yeah, it's almost like you're like the Blue's Clues of the ESL online world.
Yeah. And that was another thing that I had was I don't know if this is about me looking good, but in terms of you looking like an organized teacher, is having things as accessible to in your workspace as you can. Because it's not like, oh, wait a second. And I've done some of these like, oh, where's that picture? I'm looking for this, but to be able to, whip out the cards. Oh, where's my favorite one? The one that you love so much. I need you to be quiet and listen. That when it's, having stuff close and ready to grab just makes you be in control, makes you look more confident, feel more confident, because I don't feel confident when I'm like, oh man, I know it's around here someplace. So let's see.
Julie, are you standing or sitting?
I'm standing right now.
Standing. Okay.
I am standing. Oh, that was another thing.
Standing.
So I got a $7 bar stool at Goodwill. and I could adjust it up to a certain height. But so initially I had a desk and I put a box on it and whatever, and I got my computer at the right height. And what I did was, because I didn't want to buy an expensive desk, and like I said, somebody totally gifted me with an adjustable one. But I arranged it so my backdrop when I was standing and then when I'm sitting is essentially the same height. So I wasn't dealing with this big disparity of, you know, like, oh my, you see all this empty wall down here so much. I mean, there's a little bit of that, but not a lot. That way I can sit and stand and sit and stand. And there's times while the kid's reading something in the class, you know, I might do this and then just stand up, and then I might adjust my screen a little bit and I keep going. And sometimes I drop things and it's like, oh, wait a minute, hang on, I'm getting it to, oh, this feels so good to be down here. Oh, stretch. Oh, I'm sorry. Oh, okay, I'm back. Just making that fit in. Being comfortable, you know. And Karen pointed out before, I've got this corner work area, which I like.
I'm going to just piggyback on that. You know, one of our colleagues, Keenan Rhodes, who does a lot of YouTube work, she highly recommends corners. And I guess that's like a standard practice, actually. So something about the dimension, you can fit a lot more into a corner view if you want to do posters and so forth. That's neat. So I think I didn't talk about lighting, but I think Liz was going to talk about that. So. And what about lips? I mean, you already mentioned the lipstick. Either having, bright or whatever, but just, you know, you're often telling students, look at my mouth. You know, this is not, you know, it's not, foul, five, you know, it's the same shape, but you know, that one is the same mouth shape, but you want them to look at your mouth. So I feel like if my mouth is a little more defined, more contrast, you know, and again, men,
those filters on this YouTube. I don't know if it depends on what we have or what Karen has, whether we can do the filter lipstick thing. Do you know?
I think it has to do. Go ahead, Liz.
What you have. It depends on what you have. It depends on your computer. And I was gonna, if we have time, I'll show.
Yeah, I think Liz is going to talk about filters, in fact.
Okay.
Yeah.
Segue.
It is. Thank you so much, Julie. I learned a lot, and it blows my mind to know that you're standing. So that's a neat one too. Hey, Liz.
Hi, everybody. Okay, so I think, can you see my looking good?
It matches your shirt.
Yeah, just so happens. Okay, so I'm going to talk about background too. And so let me stop sharing for a second and tell you that I I don't teach kids very much, and I teach like in a more like a business English kind of setting. So I have opted for a more just sort of like a neutral kind of, you know, less like a classroom and more like a, you know, a professional look. And so, and everything that I'm going to say is working for me, but it's not to say that, you know, your thing doesn't work for you. So, oops, wait a second. I think I shared the wrong thing. Ah, what happened to my thing? Wait, what happened?
You want me to tap dance? I can tap dance. Well, actually, I can't. I can neither tap dance nor can I tap dance online.
But you can sing
in the mail.
I could.
You can sing.
Look at here.
So
well, she's getting it fixed up.
So
what came.
A lot of people are able to use virtual backgrounds now, and I kind of experimented a lot with that, but there were a lot of problems that I'll show you. And also a virtual background doesn't work if you do have things in the back that you want to use, like maps and, you know, things like that. And also it still gives you the kind of helmet head where everything is sort of a smooth line. I think if you have a huge budget for lighting and all that kind of stuff, you can probably fix it, but I wasn't able to. And then virtual backgrounds also probably, if you have a huge budget and you can do it just right, it's okay. But when you hold things up against a virtual background, it doesn't work. And I'll show you that. I like to set up in front of a window, and I'm in front of a window now here in Atlanta. It's late afternoon, so there's a dim filtered light coming in through my
You
window.
mean so
that I
you're
have to take-
facing the window, or so the computer is facing the window?
I'm facing the window.
You are facing the window. Okay.
That's right. And so that's not really possible for it if you want to have a wall in back of you. It's hard to find a wall that's right in front of a window. But that's why I'll show you how I did my background. For lighting, it's good to have dim light. If you have light coming in from the front, that's okay. And if you can have dim light on either side, that's good too. And I'll show you that. And then if you're doing teaching on Zoom, it's pretty good, as Karen said, about trying to adjust the light so that it makes the most of what you have. And you can also use the touch-up appearance thing, which I'll show you. I like to have my camera right at the level of my eyes, so that if I'm trying to look at the camera when I'm talking instead of at my material, I'm trying to look at the camera, which I guess you guys can't really see that now. So I'm looking at the camera now and talking to you. I can't really see you because I'm looking right into the camera. If I look at you now, I can see Robin. She's down there, but it doesn't really, even though I'm talking right to her, it doesn't look like I'm talking to her as much. So I've kind of trained myself to try to look right at the camera as much as possible.
One tip that somebody gave me was to put a little, I don't know, a little face or something next to the camera so that you remember to look at it.
A little arrow, yeah. Yeah, and most cameras have a little light or something when it's on, so you can also train yourself to look at that. But my laptop is up on one of those beanbag laptop things for like when you're in bed, and so that elevates it enough that my arms are comfortable, and also it's right, because if it weren't, then I would be looking down like this, and then I don't like that look. I feel like it looks like you're peering into a hole or something like that. So let me show you about the virtual effects that you can use. Okay, you can see my screen now, right?
Yep, we're looking at Robin.
Okay, and I have the setting on that you can see my Zoom controls. Can you at the bottom? Mute and stop video?
Yes, we can
Okay.
see.
So
Which,
if
by
you
the
click-
way, can you also show us how to show those settings? Because I need to show that too.
I will if I have time today, but otherwise, Mariah, that will give you a good reason to reach out to me and we can.
Okay, great.
Gotcha. But if you click right here on the stop video thing, you can go to video settings.
And everybody, we should just do this in real time, right? Like, so we don't forget. Video settings.
And then if you actually, it's
Advanced, right?
background and filters.
This might, what you see might depend on which version of Zoom you have, right? And what
well, it also depends on what kind of computer. It's more than just that. Even some computers, you just can't do it, but some computers you can. If you click on background and filters here, that's how you can pick your virtual background, which I'm going to talk about in a minute. But right here at the bottom right is studio effects. So if you click on that, you can see that I have a little bit, like, I hate makeup. I'm the opposite of Julie. Like, I just like, oh, I never worn makeup. I agree that it does, help to accentuate a little bit. So you can put on, this kind. Can you see my face?
Yeah.
So this is no lipstick. And this is lipstick. And then you can make it by dragging this little thing at the bottom right, you can make it darker or lighter or whatever. Okay, I'm going to make it darker right now just so you can see it good. And you can choose your own color too. You can make green lipstick if you want to. So Zoom is pretty good. Let me just show you that for a second. Oops, where did I go? Where am I? I can't see myself now, but hang on. Okay. All right, so Zoom is pretty good. Can you guys see me? Am I spotlighted?
Actually, no, you're showing a gallery, and I
Oh,
can't
'cause I'm still-
spotlight you.
Oh, because I'm still screen sharing, sorry.
There we go.
Okay.
Now I can spotlight you. Just one moment. I want to welcome, we have another visitor to the room. So welcome. Come on. I'm having the hardest time. How weird. We'll get you spotlighted. Don't worry.
I'm a drama person.
I
Like
know
my
that's funny.
Groucho eyebrows.
Oh, wow, yeah, cute.
Robin.
Okay, so if you can see I can only see Robin now, so I don't know why. But anyway, Zoom is pretty good about following, like Zoom has basically put a little patch of color on my lips. And even when I open my lips or go like that, it knows how to, follow the shape of my lips. Unless, oh, now I can see myself. Unless, so like, watch what happens to my lipstick now.
Sorry.
So there's enough of the shape there for it to still think that it is a mouth. And that's kind of weird. And then if I break the shape, it goes away altogether.
That's
But
good to know. I mean, we could leverage that really strategically, but
I really don't think that students notice it. I kind of noticed it because I had it on accidentally when I was like, what's going on here? But anyway, so yeah, I like to use a little bit of it. So let me go back to showing you about this other stuff. Okay. All right. So you can use virtual backgrounds. Ooh, I'm in a conference room. You can download a lot of just like Google virtual backgrounds. Ooh, I'm in a conference room, but see what I mean about helmet head? Like it makes your head really like a smooth shape, which looks kind of weird sometimes. Then they have the blur thing, which, I think really they did that for anonymity. So people, can be in a conference room and there might be confidential stuff and, no one's going to be able to see where you are or what's behind you. But I don't really like, it's not very aesthetically pleasing to me. So then I tried taking, sometimes I did classes in my dining room, which has a nice bookcase behind it. But then when I wasn't there, I wanted it to still look like I was there. So I tried that. It kind of worked until I held up the Color Vowel chart and then it was like black hole city. And I hold up maps and, whiteboards and Color Vowel charts and stuff. And it's really hard. Like you can position it just so if you have it completely blocked, it kind of works, but it takes a lot of finagling and I don't have time to finagle, and also I want that whole chart to show. I don't want to have to hold it in front of my chest, So, so here's my bedroom. This is where I teach most of the time now. And, like you've heard people say, no one really wants to know that you're in your bedroom, right? So that's the same. I'm sitting in the exact same place. Which one do you like better? This one or this one?
I like that background.
Thank you for saying so, Karen.
That's pretty.
So how did you do that?
What it is it's just a piece of cloth. This is actually a sarong that was given to me by this guy from Tahiti, and he gave me a couple of them. It's just the right size, but I have other ones that I use too, and it's portable. So when I'm finished teaching for the day, I push it back and back, and this is what it is.
Oh, that's what it's on. Oh, okay.
It's the rolling clothes rack that I got
Yeah.
from Target.
Yeah.
$16. So it's very lightweight, which means it isn't that great as a clothes rack unless you don't wear anything heavy, but it's
on sale for $9 right now.
Oh my gosh, everybody.
Yeah, $9. So yeah, it's the Color Vowel special. And these things extend out or in. When I extend these out, that's exactly the width that I need in order to cover my whole background. It's on wheels. So when I finish teaching for the day or for the, morning or whatever, I just push it back and then I've got my room back. And because it's kind of hard to know exactly where it needs to be in the right spot, I put little pieces of duct tape on my floor. So I know when I'm in a hurry and it's like, oh my gosh, my class is about to start, I can look down and position that thing on the floor.
You must have
Uh,
done
See, this is the
theater.
kind of stuff I love. This is brilliant. It is.
Okay, so as I said, I have other cloth that I want to use, that I'm going to use, and I'm collecting it now. And I found these great clothespins at the Dollar Tree. I don't know if y'all have Dollar Trees where you are, but you know, the dollar store. So they're like regular clothespins, but they're, if you can see my slide, they are just the right size to go on the rod of a clothes rod like that. And so I have been collecting lots of different kinds of cloth. This is going to be when sometimes as a treat when I teach my little guys that love that. This will probably be my autumn color. And anyway, so I'm experimenting with different kinds of fabric backgrounds. And these are Japanese.
Oh, I like that
brand.
one.
That's what I
That's so
started
cute.
with. These are actually curtains. So I put them on a curtain rod and then I hung the curtain rod off of this thing. That was before I really discovered
Awesome.
how cool the clips are. But okay, so one thing I want to say is if you notice, if you look at the vertical lines here, they're kind of, it does this kind of trapezoid kind of thing. And I haven't quite figured out the science behind it, but I know that if you don't have your whole background covered, it does something weird. So that's why I'm always aiming to extend it past the thing. But as Julie was saying, sometimes it's too wide, like your screen is too wide. And it depends if you're using your Zoom camera or Flipgrid or whatever, it's different. So here's how to change that. This is Robin, you were asking about this.
Yes,
You go to your
yes.
settings, you go to general, and then you click on video. Once you're in video, you have your camera thing here. See, HD webcam, original ratio HD. I don't understand what that means, but when I click original ratio, it cuts off the sides a little bit. When I have HD, it widens everything a little bit. So there they are. This is no setting. Neither of these boxes clicked. This is original ratio, and this is original ratio and HD. So you can see this one has a lot more actually, no, it doesn't. It's just cut off on the side. So this one is actually the narrowest. These gray things are just nothing. Okay. Everybody, any question about that? Everybody understand what I'm saying?
What program are you in?
Zoom.
So what's neat about Liz A is that she's a Zoom master. I think you're actually like certified. Or you should be. But the other is that she knows how to show her own actual Zoom controls, which is a setting in Zoom. So we are in Zoom. But
So we
tell
could
us-
all try that right now, couldn't we?
We can.
Right?
I just did. Can you just
So
one more
that's under
time?
video settings and then,
Right.
okay.
And Liz, could you tell us one more time, just one, the other, and both, how that, I have to hear it twice.
Okay, hold on. I was going to show the settings that somebody just like how to show your Zoom controls, right?
Oh, look at this.
Okay, hold on. Okay,
Yeah.
so you can't see my settings yet, right?
Not right now, you're not sharing, but you're about to. There you go. Yep.
Okay, so I'm sharing now. When you click share screen, in order to have your Zoom controls show, I'm going to show you the setting, but even once you have the settings selected, you have to share your screen. You can't share one of these individual windows. Your Zoom controls will not show up if you just share one of these. You have to share the whole screen. So I'm going to share my whole screen. You can go down here and do it, or you can click right here. See this?
Yep.
This will also let you access all of your settings right here. Click this little green check mark, and then this settings thing. Okay, so I think it's under general up at the top here. See?
Yep.
And then if you go to, wait a second, maybe it is on video. Hold on. I was not prepared to do this. Yeah, it's somewhere here. Always display, always show. No, that's not it. Maybe it's under general.
Well, maybe we could come back to that when you can look for it while Mariah's talking later. But
Yeah.
I think it's there. I think it's there, Liz. This is Robin Floyd. It's always show meeting controls in general. It's the second check
No.
thing.
No, I don't think that is it, actually. I'm sorry.
Really?
Mine says something about Zoom itself. It says show Zoom controls.
it's
And
not always show, huh?
There you go. I go up a little bit further, scroll up a little bit there. There's the camera.
No, that's not.
That's
it.
not the
Original
camera.
ratio and HD. That's what I was been clicking on.
Oh, yeah, this is what I was showing you earlier.
Yeah.
So here I am with both of these checked. Here I am with only original ratio checked. And here I am with neither one of them checked. See how it changed?
Yeah.
So does that satisfy you, Karen?
Sure. I just don't know what changed. I just know that it changed.
Well, okay, let's go back to the slideshow.
That's cool. I mean, there's more. I know there's more. Actually, I'm curious of something that I'm seeing right now, Liz, and that is your background is, and tell me, people can raise a hand if this is the same for them. Your background over your left shoulder is perfectly focused, and yet your face and your shoulders are out of focus. And I'm wondering if there's a way to control, and this has been throughout today's session. So I'm just curious, is your camera able to focus?
Okay. Is it more focused now?
Nope.
Oh, the background is more in focus than the foreground.
Yeah.
I don't know. It looks like it's focused to me. I don't know about that.
Okay. I was curious whether it was like a laptop thing or if we all had that feature, like knowing sort of like a phone camera can decide what it's focusing on.
Mm-hmm.
All right.
I don't know. I know you've said that before. So it's out of focus for everybody. Is that right?
Just a little bit. It's not.
Yeah, it's not huge. It's just
Yeah.
something I was curious about.
Okay. Well, anyway, so here are the 3 views, Karen, if that helps.
That does. Okay.
And if you want.
Looks like it's worth playing with when we're trying to see how things work. Great.
So lest you think that I do not use the color vowel chart in my lessons, I assure you that I do. I just don't have the poster up. What I have is, this is my wallpaper or my desktop background on my second monitor. So when I want to show and point things out, or go through the warm up, or point things out, I just share that screen. I share that desktop, and then I show it that way.
Now, Liz, right now we can you go back? We see the 2 other windows. You have 2 monitors. Is that right?
Yeah.
And this right in front of you have 2 monitors, and then we see 2 squares that look like other browsers. Is that the other monitor?
I just put those there to show you that it's actually my monitor screen.
I see. Okay.
Yeah. But like, if I made this go away, can you see my second screen now? Are the little squares gone? No?
No, it stayed the same. That's okay. But that's a great idea.
If you want to use dual monitors, that's under the general tab. There's things you can click that says use dual monitors.
I don't have that clicked because I don't even know what that will do. But I just shared the second monitor, and this is I don't have any icons or anything on this second monitor because I use it for this purpose.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. All right. So now I'm going to go back to my all these questions. I'm messing up my presentation.
Well, you're doing neat things, and I think it's inevitable.
Yeah, so questions are good. That means people are interested.
Yeah.
So I do have a chart though that I keep handy if I have to just quickly like point to something and I don't want to mess with screen sharing or whatever. And I just keep this one near my desk with a little piece of magnet on the back. And I have a metal, like my light is a metal stand, and I just stick it on there and grab it when I need it.
Great.
Okay, so lighting. So the thing about lighting is the eye of the viewer will always go to the brightest spot in the frame. And so if your face is not the brightest spot, there it's distracting. And just visually it is. Setting up in front of a window is good if you can, or you can have dim light from both sides. Oh, I already talked about Zoom. Zoom will adjust the light, and it also will touch up your appearance. I don't know why I spelled it with a 3, but I have a little bit of touch up right now, and that's what I thought you meant by it isn't in focus, Karen. Because what that touch up actually does is it actually blurs a little bit so that every little wrinkle and whatever doesn't show up.
That may be the cause.
It's like putting foundation on. Yeah.
That might be.
And then when I go to Flipgrid, it's like, oh, because they don't have that.
I agree with you.
That way. Okay. Okay. So here is an example of, this light up here is distracting, and maybe people don't realize it, but this is not ideal, in my opinion, to have a light in your background that's brighter than you are. This is even less ideal to have a really bright light in your background or at
the aliens are about to beam you up, it looks like.
I know. I think they were beaming me up. Okay, so that is out of focus, but more than that, if you don't have any background light, Zoom will do its best, and the light of me here is not too bad, but it looks like I'm in a dungeon, and I don't like that look either. So, and here's another example of this distracting thing. People's eyes will always get pulled to that, so you don't want that. You want to turn that off. And then this is if you have a whole bunch of bright light behind you, it's the silhouette effect, and Zoom does a pretty good job to try to counteract that, but it's not great to be, facing in front of a window, facing away from it. Okay, so this is, it's kind of out of focus, but this is a fairly balanced light. This is with a light on this side, just like a floor lamp. So you can see that this side of my face is more lit. This one is in shadow. And then I turned on another light over on this side, and now it's more balanced. So, like this is what you want. You want yourself, assuming that you want your students to look at you, you want yourself to be the brightest thing in the rectangle. Okay. So that I think is the best of those looks. And then with a background, and then with a little bit of Zoom lipstick, and it gets better, right?
Beautiful.
Ooh la la.
Looking great.
My transition.
Yeah.
Okay, so let's see. Is that it? Yeah.
Before and after.
That was great, Liz. That's really helpful. I love that, all those before and after photos. Thank you. And Mariah's taking a picture of you because she thinks it's so great.
Okay, I am going to try to find that Zoom setting while we're talking, and then I'll share it when I do.
Well, wonderful. Thank you so much. These are so many great tips. And Mariah's taking a picture. Why is that, Mariah?
Okay.
There's a background story, right?
Yeah.
So Liz is going to be a hard act to follow because she was so prepared. She had a PowerPoint, and now I'm getting nervous. So I'm like, I have to take pictures of my setup.
Okay, wait, I'm sorry, Mariah, before you start, I just found it. Okay.
Please do, because I need time to create my PowerPoint.
I'm just like, I'm so old that PowerPoint is still like, ooh, a PowerPoint. How do I do it? Like it's still challenging for me. Okay, so here it is. You can see my controls now, right?
Mm-hmm.
Okay, you click on this little arrow here. You go to video settings, and you click on share screen.
Ah, okay.
And there it says, show my Zoom window to other participants when I'm screen sharing. So you're one way or the other, you're going to settings, and then you're going to share screen. And then you're clicking this box.
That shows the whole window.
And can you do that in real time, Liz? You don't have to, it'll change at the moment. Great.
You can, but it's, it's a number of steps. It's not like one click. It's, 3 clicks or whatever.
Mhm.
But you also have to, like you don't always necessarily want the students to see all this stuff that you're doing. So I always have to kind of remember to turn it back off when I don't want to show them,
Well, fabulous. Thank you. Hey, Mariah, how are you doing?
Hi, I'm doing good. I'm looking for show my Zoom windows in my share screen so I can see if I can do it in real time. Not able to find it, so I'm not going to mess with it right now.
That's
Well,
fabulous
Mariah, it's so
lipstick
good
you
to
have
see
on.
you.
You mean the setting that we just talked about, Mariah?
Yeah. I don't know why it's not coming up as, because you said go to video settings. So I'm in video settings. I went to share screen.
No. Yeah.
Yeah. And then I don't have that same language that
Okay.
you have.
You may have to make it appear in your general settings at the website first.
And I actually think, sorry, not to cut you off, but I think I did see that language somewhere else. So I'm going to have to like play with it, but I'm also pointing out that maybe it's not the same for everyone, because I am following what you said, but I don't seem to find the same.
And I find that time and again, Mariah, like when I try to
Zoom.
direct students how to rename themselves, it's never the same that it looks for me. And I'd say that's something I wish Zoom was a little bit more elegant about.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Absolutely. All right.
But hey, everybody, I want to introduce Mariah Schuemann. She's here from, are you still at University of Miami?
I am. Yes. Thank God I
It's
have
so
a job.
nice to see you. It's been a while.
Thank you. Yeah, it's been a while. I'm excited to be here, and thank you for all the great tips. Absolutely great stuff. And what I have to share with you might be a little bit different because it's less perhaps about online teaching and real time, and maybe a little bit more if you ever have to like give a canned speech, or you're maybe even doing a video, like a YouTube video for your class. But I think it definitely fits with the topic because you're still, using the webcam, recording yourself, and kind of want to look your best and presentable and whatnot. And as I'm talking, I'm thinking about Robin and Liz's comment earlier when they said, look at the camera constantly. And that's where I want to start my first point off today, is that I always look at the computer, the screen, and not the camera. So I do Robin's trick of sticking a sticker. So now that I have my PowerPoint together, I'm going to show you that. So it's not very beautiful or elegant, but this is, there we go. This is my work computer, and originally I put like a Post-it note, but the Post-it note would always fall down, and so I have a sticker constantly there to remind me, because I'm constantly forgetting. So I always have to be like very cognizant of the sticker up here to remind me to look at it, to have better eye contact. And then what I did really quickly was I just pasted the agenda up near my webcam. So I'm a little different than Liz. I think, Liz, you have probably a, what do you call it? Like movable? What's the word?
Yeah. An external camera.
Portable is what I was looking for. Whereas I have a built-in webcam, so I can't move mine. So I actually stuck my beautiful little agenda right at the top by the webcam, so I could, read that while I was talking to you guys. So today we're going to talk about improving eye contact, a little bit about teleprompting, and then also the third point about recording yourself. So hopefully, as I'm talking to you right now, do I have good eye contact? I don't know. Do I?
Yeah, you really do. Putting your agenda up there is great. Now all I have to do is get glasses that'll let me read it.
Oh, you don't have to read it, right? Because ideally, you're not reading it. You're just talking to the people who are listening to you. So rather than having your agenda in front of you on your screen, maybe you have it taped up near your webcam or something like that. But the sticker for me is like a huge trick that I use kind of every day when I'm teaching, if I'm teaching on Zoom and whatnot. And then the second thing that I want to show you is actually teleprompting. So I have 2 links that I can share that kind of taught me how to do this, but I had to create a video for a newsletter that went out. So I'm going to show you that briefly. No sound, but I just want you guys to kind of notice like my eye contact in the video and tell me, am I doing okay or not with my eye contact in this video? And I am sharing my screen, right?
You are.
Okay, cool. So no sound, just looking at my eyes.
Oh, yeah.
So I think I have okay eye contact. I'm reading everything. And hopefully you can't really tell that I'm reading, maybe at a few points here and there. What do you think? Does it look like I'm reading?
No, it looks natural.
Well, the other thing is, I think watchers, listeners, viewers contribute some percent of suspension of disbelief, right? Like if we really wanted to know, if you're like, that's a lot of content she's delivering, she must be, then you're like, she must be using a teleprompter, and then I can tell. Yeah. But mostly I'm going to say, of course she's using a teleprompter, Right. So I think there's that piece we can always comfort ourselves with, that it's okay if it's detectable.
Right. Also, in our culture, if you're the one who's talking, you're not supposed to be staring at the person you're talking to. So looking to the right or left or up or down, what you have to do is check with the camera every so often, but that's enough.
Yeah.
Now it's really natural to me, Mariah. I mean, it looks like you're just talking to me, and you're
straight ahead. Yeah.
Well, and I just watched you 3 different times. You looked away from the camera. So now I want to know, how do you keep up with the teleprompter when you look away? Did you practice that?
So that actually brings me to agenda point number 3, which if you can or cannot read it, I'm sorry, but record yourself. So just like we tell your students, like I practiced several times, I recorded and re-recorded. And so I think, if you haven't done this already, do it like now. It doesn't matter if you're teaching on Zoom or if you're giving a presentation or a YouTube video. We learn so much from watching ourselves. So I did practice, but I also needed and appreciated the comfort of having the script in front of me. So kind of back to point number 2, the teleprompting. So basically this is my setup here. So I have my little sticker up here that I'm constantly looking at. I have my Word document here that I'm reading, and I'm actually scrolling with my mouse. Like, you can't see it because this is a still picture, but I'll show you in my screen share in a minute. But I'm actually scrolling down what I'm reading constantly. And then I'm kind of looking at myself or not down here in the Zoom window. So it's a lot of multitasking. Right? It's not super easy or straightforward, but I find it really helpful if you're especially doing kind of a pre-recorded type thing on your own without having, what do you call them? Like a director and a producer at your disposal. Yeah. So I think I'm still sharing
my. Keep the Word document from foregrounding itself in front of the Zoom. Oh, I see. You made it small enough that the Zoom
and
underneath
that's the really hard part, right? You have to like just keep it up here, and technically you can see me like auto hide up here, right?
Yeah.
So you see how it took over my screen? So it tells you to auto hide, but the problem, like some tutorials will tell you to auto hide the ribbon, but the problem with that is that when you have Zoom, you can't minimize. It just takes over everything. So I've found like I have to keep this ribbon. I cannot auto hide it, but I can still scroll and have multiple windows open. So I'm just going to do a little example like of the video that you just saw. So hi, everyone. I'm Mariah Schuemann. I'm a professor with the Intensive English program at the Division of Continuing and International Education. Concurrently, I'm also working on a second master's degree in leadership with the Miami Herbert Business School. So I actually have a unique perspective of being both an educator and a student. Today, we're going to be talking about motivation, especially when it comes to the mid-semester slump. Motivation is a complex phenomenon. So how can professors tap into students' intrinsic motive, blah, 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 blah. Sorry, I won't bore you guys.
But can you show, is this what you're seeing right now? So where's your Zoom screen on your page right now?
So I don't know if you guys probably can't see, like I see you guys
right
at the bottom. But
yeah,
that's
she can position us anywhere she wants because her screen share is the is going to be.
So you can see
But
my
do you
mouse.
see yourself?
right? I see
No,
myself.
I can't see you in here.
Can you see my mouse?
Mouse, yes.
Yeah. Okay. So
I think it's just, we can't see everything that she can see. And so that big gray, what we see as her desktop, that would be her Zoom window right there.
Okay.
so I can see you, Robin, right here, even though you can't, and I can see myself right here, Dr.
Yeah.
Barr. And then here, I'm just, as I'm reading it, I'm kind of constantly scrolling. And then that more natural fluid eye contact just comes because you wrote it, you know what you're saying. And so you kind of improvise as you're reading as well. But, you know, that comes to the third point being practice, practice, practice. So that's what I got.
Out of curiosity, what size font is that?
So this is actually normal font, and I actually blew it up here. So you can see it's at 180%. Yeah.
Okay, great.
But some people do talk about, you know, they'll make the font really big. I've found that this Zoom helps.
I think that's
better
brilliant.
for me.
Yeah. You know, I've used teleprompter software on my computer, and I think I'm going back to this.
This is the free version.
Yeah, it's a really free version. It might be the better version, honestly, because it's easier to control, I think. I mean, maybe the newer stuff is better.
No,
But
I mean, it's great. It takes a little bit of practice, honestly, to get used to, but not that bad. Nothing you can't really do if you're, you know, fairly tech oriented. And then I'm just sending you guys the links that I sent to Karen as well. So the article, the first one is a little bit more on like how to position your Word document in like web view. So it's kind of a quick read. And then the video, she's actually, I'll show you real quick on the.
Before you scroll away.
Hold on, sorry. Don't know what happened there. Here. She's actually a professional once the ad stops. Newscaster, I believe. And you can kind of see how she's doing it here, but she's very much a personality. I see Dr. Barr's face is great. That's how I felt when I was watching it too. But it's actually, she has a lot of helpful pointers in here about what I was just talking about. So I kind of watched, this was my like entree into what I'm talking about, watched it, figured it out. And then like now I go back to the article just because I don't need to watch her again. But I reference this article, which I find is a nice, quick article to read. So that's
great.
that.
Hey, Mariah, that's wonderful. Thank you.
Karen, you were saying something about a free program that does teleprompter. I missed that. What was that?
I'm not sure it's free. I've used a program called Prompt Dog. There are lots of them out there, but I'll mention Prompt Dog. I think I paid for it years ago, maybe $15 or something. There's lots of free software that goes hand in hand when you buy one of those camera. You can buy a screen that goes in front of an actual video camera that then really teleprompts, like the actual teleprompter, the way people do. I haven't invested in that yet. And I'm sometimes right on the edge of it if you have to make a lot of videos. But because you're supposed to get used to that pacing of it coming up on its own, I haven't quite mastered that yet. Hi, Liz.
I've heard of ones that you can do on your iPad. So like if you can get some kind of mounting, and they automatically, like they can hear you as you're talking. So they automatically scroll up to wherever you are. And if you skip, you know, if somebody asks a question and you have to divert for a few minutes, and then when you start saying those words, though, it starts again. I haven't used it, but it sounds pretty cool.
Yeah, that doesn't surprise me, and that's neat. I think the part I find tricky and inevitably leads to needing to buy this. I bought it and then I sent it back, honestly. You have to have a SLR camera that does video. You know, you have to, not an SLR, but a camera, not the camera in your computer. Then there's this thing that fits on front of it that holds this piece of glass. And then there's a tray onto which your iPad or your phone sits, and it creates a mirroring effect so you can see through the letters right into the camera.
Oh, wow.
Okay. And that's when it's moving, because you don't want to be looking at the iPad where's the camera? So I've actually like put together a music stand and I don't know, duct tape. And I had the iPad right next to this little camera on my monitor. It was pathetic and funny. And I did that for one video and I thought, I can't do this again. So now I just try to think about what I want to say and I take 30 takes of it and try to sound fluent, so I'm all over the place with this still. I'm just kind of putting myself out there as my crazy little process. But I definitely know my content well. But really, I want to thank everybody. We are coming to the end of our time. First, I want to start with Julie. Yeah, thanks for Julie, everybody. We need a little visual applause. And Liz, all of your mad tips there. And Mariah, I just got to think in all kinds of new ways. So thank you very much. We come together every Friday. A couple of announcements. What is this? Today's the 11th of June. We're going to be doing Fridays at 5, 2 more Fridays. And then we're going to be taking a break in July and August. So imagine. So what's happening next week? We have a new thing called the Blue Canoe Success Forum. And I started looking through some of the statistics and looking for teachers and students where you find some really high play statistics. And I think something's going on in that classroom. Right, the teacher's doing something especially effective. So I've started interviewing people and their students. And next week I'll be featuring a class over in Singapore, where students are using the app for weeks on end, 6 and 7 days per week, with just incredible, persistence. And so I'm really excited about featuring that group coming up next week. I'm interviewing them this weekend. So that's why I'm not doing any big reveals with names, just in case something goes south with the meeting. But we're thrilled. And if you feel like you're really hitting on some kind of a groove that works well to motivate your students and keep them going, we know that what we've done with Blue Canoe is all about forming positive habits for stress and the prosody of English, wrapping around those specific vowel sounds that are at the peak stress moment. So if you're finding yourself being particularly successful, talk to me. I don't get to see all the data all the time. So I want to hear from you as well. But that's a new Fridays at 5 feature that I'll be developing that we'll just deliver on occasion, the Blue Canoe Success Forum. Our final Friday at 5 this month is with Dr. Robin Barr here in the room. Yeah, we have
I am
our
so excited about this. Oh
yeah?
my God.
Tell us,
Yeah.
why are you so excited?
Oh, because I've been thinking about, I've been having brainstorms about this. So this is really going to bounce off of what we did last time, which was how learning art involves switching from the right to the left hemisphere, just in the same way, or learning symbols in art, just the way learning to speak a particular language moves from the right brain to the left brain in order to fit with whatever the culture, whatever the appropriate for the culture. So the left brain suppresses what's not relevant for the culture. And if you want to draw what actually is appearing on your retina, you have to disable the symbolic area of your brain in the same way as if you want to pronounce what somebody is actually saying in the new language. You have to disable Broca's area or bypass Broca's area. And I found a whole bunch of other things that work the same way. And I think I'm on the verge of a unified brain theory or something. So I want to see what you think.
Well, we're excited. We're excited to hear more about this. Wow. I wish I could feel like I'm on the edge of a unified brain theory for my own brain.
Karen, can I share one more thing?
True. This is just the story I'm telling myself to make sense of the experimental data. But maybe it'll make it easier for you to have a place to put all the experimental data too. I don't know.
Wonderful. Anything else that we need to make announcements about, Jennifer?
Somebody had
the
something to
classes.
add.
It was me. I was just thinking about looking good as part of feeling good. This is a Dyson hot cool. It's a heater fan. It's really quiet. It wasn't cheap, but I received a gift, and this is it's a really quiet fan, because there's times when I'm sitting there thinking, I'm gonna die. It is so stinking hot. And I can turn that on. So, keeping either cooling or heating, making your workspace comfortable, because if you're feeling like you're sweating like a pig or freezing, you're not going to be doing as well either. So, even I even have, this little thing, and sometimes, I'll show it to my kids like,
Yeah.
oh, do you have one of these?
Well, yeah, and you have to avoid the ones that hum, because then they can't hear you. Yeah.
Right.
Hey, any other comments from anybody? We didn't get to hear from everyone. It's been a fun session. Suzanne.
Yeah, Karen, just wanted everyone to know that my investment arrived from Redbubble, and I think this is the greatest thing you guys thought of, because when my toaster is not available, my phone is always with me, and I can just access it at any point, and I love it. It was $22.95, I think, and it's great.
I see Shirley's also holding up her phone case, which is all of the little icons. And okay, so we have 4. We have lots of people with their bling.
Oh, Donna.
But the phone cases are key. The
Donna,
thing,
I like the mug.
Suzanne, the reason we thought of that, and thank you for showing that. I still don't have it because the phone is dying. We're gonna get a new phone. When I do, I'm gonna get it. For those of you who are curious about Redbubble or what Suzanne was talking about, if you go to our website, on our homepage, you will now find this announcement about our Redbubble gallery. It ships internationally. This is the exciting thing. So wherever you are or your students are, they can come to Redbubble and they can order that phone case, right? Which is just so wonderful, because now they have Blue Canoe and the icons in the app, and then they turn the phone right over at any time for instruction with you, and they can move around the way we like them to touch. I'm doing this imaginarily on my phone that doesn't have the chart on it. Okay. So, spend some time over there in that shop. This is our shop, which has some of our more conventional teaching materials. But in that shop, it's more merch. We call, raise your hand if you're annoyed by the phrase merch or the word. Okay. I'm not yet. Okay. That's okay. But our merch, our purple shirt merch we have fun stuff like aprons, but also very practical stuff like the back of the phone case image that combines both the chart and the images. So super fun. I just got my mug. I think Jennifer just got her clock.
I like the, what's it called, artboard things that you can hold up, small artboard thing that you can just hold
right.
up.
Yeah, these small art boards are great. So just so many great ideas. And this is all
stickers now, stickers. Yeah.
Yep. And I'll just hand it back always that Laura McIndoe, the same brilliant teacher who designed Color It Out, is the designer of most of our Redbubble, or all of our Redbubble material. Now, are those beautiful? Did they just arrive?
Yes, yesterday I got it, and this
wonderful
one, and I love this one here.
Oh,
and
it's a journal.
Oh,
yeah.
And you can choose either lined paper, blank paper, or gridded paper. Huh.
Oh, that's gorgeous.
Yeah. We can choose. Yeah. I love that.
I'm going to finish just by laughing. Thank you, Liz. You have a long list of things that annoy you, and merch is low on that list.
Oh, I wanted to ask Jennifer, could you summarize the courses that are happening next month?
Yeah, we can.
Sure.
Yeah, we've got a lot of fun stuff happening.
Next month, we'll have 2 basics complete courses, one in the morning and one in the evening. And we didn't have any this month, but we'll have 2 next month. So if you know any colleagues who are intrigued by Color Vowel, send them to us. We also have our asynchronous course now, which you can purchase in the shop, and you buy registration, and it's totally asynchronous. It runs on Canvas, and you basically have 3 months to complete, 6 hours of video. So, and then you can also upgrade at a discount to get the technique practicum and get your certification. But our level 2 course next month is teaching literacy, enhancing phonics with Color Vowel. So especially if you're K through 12 and you know, your curriculum uses phonics, you might want to register for that. Or if you work with low literacy adults or newcomers, this is going to be the course for you.
Great. We also want to announce anyone who's in our level 2 or planning to start taking level 2 workshops. We have our Meet the Level 2 Practicum meeting on the 13th of July coming up, and that's a free informational session where you get to preview the coaching practicum and the teaching practicum that's the capstone to the level 2 journey. If you're brand new to all of this, you know, go to our training page right up here at the top, training, and you'll have access to our overall training calendar. The courses for certification tab is a view of our whole journey and the checklist that you can use to keep track of your journey. That's an interactive checklist. And then you can come down and really see that journey up close and see what's happening when. Okay. Yes.
Karen, if I could mention, in July, we'll be finalizing, believe it or not, we'll be finalizing our calendar for next year. So if there's a workshop that we don't offer that you would really like to see, please feel free to drop me a line, Jennifer@colorvowel.com, and we'll, you know, just say what your idea is in 2 or 3 sentences, what you think you would love us to cover in a 4-week or 4-session workshop. And we'll take those ideas and see what we can do.
We are a teacher-built company, everybody. We rely on you. We love your ideas. And in many cases, we ask you to help us do those things. So do speak up. Let us know if there's also a time or a day when you wish we had classes. We tend to make them work for those of us who are offering them, but we're always willing to bridge into a new place. One final announcement, and this is just more on the logistical side, the Blue Canoe website is down, and it's going to be down for a couple of days. And I don't even like saying it, but I know somebody asked me privately, and I know a few of you have contacted me kindly with those updates that it's still down, and we're painfully aware. Our one person who has the one secret key to the kingdom is in some place without a laptop, believe it or not. So we're solving many problems right now, but we will have it up and running again by sometime on Sunday. Okay.
When you say the website is down, does that mean people can't use the app?
No, the app is fine. Thank you for clarifying. The app is up and running, no problem. It's just our actual website that's down. So why does that matter? If you're trying to request, and thank you, Liz, you helped get me back on track. If you want to request free for classrooms, let's say you're a new teacher who hasn't requested free for classrooms before, we have our new summer session coming up where you can get Blue Canoe for free, the premium version for your students for the summer semester. And so if you are still, you know, you're interested in that or you want to know more about it, you can email partners@bluecanoelearning.com, and we will send you information about the free for classrooms program. And I just put that in the chat. Okay. And any kind of questions you have, you can email us at customer support at Color Vowel or partners@Blue Canoe Learning. We are 2 companies, but we are in very, very close contact, to say the least. Okay. Any final comments or questions? Happy Friday. Stay dry. Keep the cicadas out of your mouth. They're flying around over here. Have a good one and stay in touch, everybody. We'll see you again soon. See you next week. Okay.
Awesome.
Thank you. This is so great.
People.
This is wonderful. Thank you, guest speakers. Loved having you.
Nice seeing everyone after so long. Bye.